So you're at breaking point. You finally decided that you're going to prove to the people around you who you really are and who you can really be when you put your mind to it. You no longer want to be known as the procrastinator, the guy who's lazy as fuck, the guy who settles for bare minimum, the guy who's all talk, no action. And instead you want people to respect you. You want people to look up to you and to see you as, an inspiration. You want to be the guy that went from living just an average life to the guy that's, really meaning business, a guy that truly knows what he's worth, but you just don't know where to start. Well, that's why you need to listen to this video the whole way through, because I guarantee you I'm going to be telling you something that you've never ever heard anybody on YouTube say before, and I'm also going to be explaining, how you can disappear and come back successful. So with that being said, what does it mean to disappear exactly? Well, basically it means these three things. You disconnect from your friends, you spend time alone, in brackets temporarily, that's kind of important, and you delete all social media from your phone so that you're not distracted and so that you're not consuming absolute bullshit. Now, this is quite an interesting point that I've made here, especially the fact that you need to disconnect from your friends. And I know straight off the back of that, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to hear me say that, and they're going to say that that's too extreme. Well, to you, my friend, I say no problem. I say you can keep living the current underachieving life that you have been living, because you're clearly not too serious about this. If you really wanted to make a change, you'd be more than willing to do something you've never done. That's kind of the way this works, to have something you've never had, you need to do something that you've never done. That's just facts. There's a real reason why you aren't where you want to be right now. And one of those main reasons is because the people you hang around with aren't giving you enough of a positive influence. That's the truth. They're the hard facts, and you probably don't want to hear it, but I'm telling you, through the camera lens, mate, I'm telling you right now, it is imperative that you completely reorganize your social circle. You have to do it. And the best way to reorganize your social circle is to go alone and to spend time without anybody else. And you can do that temporarily. And the reason I say temporarily is because it's very important to socialize. But you can only socialize and know who the right people are for you once you spend that necessary time alone. Now, I remember a few years ago when I was playing my Xbox online and I was just chatting to some of my friends from school, and we were having a good time. We were just playing around, being absolute morons on the Xbox. I can't actually remember what game we were playing. It probably would have been FIFA. I mean, that's, the game we played most of the time. Good old pro clubs, loved it. And, we were just talking about general shit, probably talking about what was going on at college or, uni or whatever we were doing. And I remember at one point, I think it was when we were waiting for one of the players to join the game, I ended up talking about some of my plans for the future and, what I wanted to achieve with the rest of my life. And this was a real huge mistake. Obviously, I didn't realize it at the time, but I'll tell you why this was a mistake. And it's mainly because the people that I explained this to were pretty dismissive of what I had told them. They weren't, not to say that they were laughing at me or against me or anything like that, but their response wasn't quite what I'd hoped it would be. I'd hoped they'd given me the same energy back that I actually put into the microphone, but there wasn't really anything of that, and it was pretty dismissive. It wasn't really the energy I was looking for, and of course this played a massive part on my mindset. And very shortly after I'd spoken about these things, I think one of the next conversations was about what we were going to do on the weekend, which would have been like the day after we were on the chat, and we were just talking about what we were going to drink, how much of it we were going to drink, and all this stuff, where we were going to go. And I remember just thinking, like, what the hell, man? Like, they've just completely not shown any interest in what I want to do. They almost don't support me in the way that I'm hoping they'd support me, and they're not making me feel good about my decisions. Maybe I should just settle for less. Maybe I shouldn't even bother trying. These were the thoughts that were going around in my head. But what I did next is actually something that really surprises me, because I'd probably done this this conversation thing, and I told them about my plans loads of times in the past, and I'd always settled for it. I just kind of realized that that's the way they were. But this time in particular, I just had enough. I think I had one of those moments called an FTE moment, which is, also known as a fuck this event moment, which is basically where you decide that enough's enough. Like, I'm not continuing on with this bullshit. And, I actually just told my friends, I was like, yo boys, really sorry, something's come up, but I've got to go. And essentially, I turned off my Xbox, I put the controller down, and I actually didn't go on this Xbox again for months, because I decided I was going to make a change to my life, and I was going to disappear and come back successful. And I don't know why I did that in quotation marks, because I did technically disappear in the sense that we're talking on here. Obviously, I didn't drink some invisibility glue or put on my invisibility cloak or anything like that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that as tough as this was to do what I did, it actually became the main reason why I was able to achieve the things that I have achieved in recent years. And I'm not sitting here to say that I've achieved everything under the sun, but to me, I've achieved some really impressive things that I'm really proud of. And, just to name a couple of those things, one would be this YouTube channel. I've grown it to over 1,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd be able to do that, and I had a couple of boxing fights. Never thought I was going to be able to do that. I was able to travel the world and visit some countries that I never thought I'd be able to, and actually spend a lot of time out there. And, these are small wins to me. So to me, I have the mindset of a winner and somebody that, wants to achieve things. And that's exactly what I want you to achieve. So let's find out and talk about how you can go about doing that. So with everything that I've just said there, the next piece of advice that I want to give you is that the beauty of all of this, the beauty of everything that I've just said, is that you will be so much better off when you return back to your old friends that you won't even feel the need to show off to them about how you've changed. And the reason for this is because, firstly, the results will speak for themselves. They'll literally be able to look at you and think, Christ, how has he changed so much? They'll be able to almost sense this energy off of you. And secondly, you'll realize that showing off to them basically just means that you still seek their approval. You're still looking for them to approve you and for them to kind of give you the praise, right? And this is technically the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. We want to get to a point where we have the mindset of a winner that doesn't really care about what other people think of us. Now that I've told you that and that we're on the same page, let's actually talk about what it means to come back as successful. What exactly defines success? Because let's be real, it's different for everybody, isn't it? But for me, success is all about mindset. It's not about materialistic things. So, for example, if you have a winner's mindset, you will be successful forever. It doesn't matter what you achieve, what you don't achieve, regardless, you will always be a winner. You will always have the mindset of somebody that is successful. Because imagine you have somebody who has achieved everything under the sun, but still feels like a failure. Is he really successful? Imagine he's won, 40 boxing fights, and maybe he's actually won a boxing world championship, for example. Now, imagine if he still feels like a loser. Is he really successful? Is he really somebody who, can hold their head up high if he actually feels bad about himself? I would argue that no, of course not. But now imagine if you've got somebody who's had 10 boxing fights and he's lost every single one of them, but still feels like an absolute fucking champion because of the fact that he knows he got in the ring in the first place, and he has the mindset of a winner, and he feels great about it, and he's grateful for what he was able to achieve. Is he successful? Because I would say yes, he is absolutely successful. So success is all about the mindset. And with that being said, how do you achieve a successful mindset? And the answer is very simply through holistic self-improvement. And may I say, self-improvement is more than just NoFap and hitting the gym, okay? It's more than that. They're very important. They're the absolute foundations of this self-improvement thing. But self-improvement is also about learning. It's about expanding your knowledge. You want to be learning about how to make money. You want to be learning about how to improve your social life and how to improve your beliefs and your mindset. And then not only do you want to learn these things, but you want to start experiencing them. You want to be taking action. You don't just want to be the guy who's all talk and no action. You want to be a guy that is actually making moves. You also want to be somebody who is able to anchor the mind and is able to calm the mind, because when you're able to do this, if you ever get in a situation where, there's a lot of stress or there's a lot of negative emotions, you want to be able to calm yourself and actually get to that point of positivity again. Holistic self-improvement is also about traveling and experiencing new cultures. This is where you're going to be able to actually meet people and understand what life is all about. Life isn't just about the classic grind culture. It's actually about going out and enjoying yourself, and you're actually going to learn so many things about yourself and the world we live in just by doing this. Just think about how many people are actually doing it. Out of everyone you know, out of all of your friends, who's actually taking action on this? Who's actually going out and traveling and getting out of their comfort zone? Because the majority of people aren't willing to do that. They all want to stay in their, their comfortable bubbles of cotton wool and stay in their houses. No one wants to get out of their comfort zone. So that's how you join, the top 1% of people, is by getting out of your comfort zone. And in doing so, you're going to be able to rebuild your network. Remember what I said earlier about socializing being so important, but you want to make sure that you're actually socializing with people who are bringing you goodness. They're bringing you positivity, right? You don't want to be socializing with people that are only bringing you down and not actually pushing you to go in the direction that you want to go. Get my free diet plan from the description below. This is going to help you become an absolute machine. Believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.